You're watching Look East from the BBC. Coming up, an old favourite back on the tracks.
The Labour Party will finally get a new leader tomorrow afternoon, and if the pundits are right, he'll have the surname Miliband.
But whoever it is, Ed or David, they'll have their work cut out trying to make the party electable again, especially in this region, where it has just 2 seats.
22 years ago, Labour was recovering from one of its worst ever election defeats. It had just lost about every seat in the region. A former cabinet minister went on tour trying to find out why Labour did so badly and if it could ever get back into power.
If we can't win Ipswich, we can never form a government. It's quite simple, because Ipswich is one of those key marginals in the southern part of the country.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? In May this year, Labour lost control of Ipswich after 18 years in power, and they lost control of just about every other seat in the region as well. Across the east, they polled just 19.5% of the popular vote, putting them in 3rd place behind the Liberal Democrats. And once again, party strategists are saying if we can't win places like Ipswich, we'll never get back into power.
When we lost the election in '87, it was a shock because we didn't think we were going to lose. We thought this time it was going to be very difficult to win.
Those who remember the dark days of the 80s are determined to see Labour win here again.
We've got to show that when people express concerns, we understand what they're talking about, whether we agree or not. You know, we need to show that we understand their concerns.
What New Labour was, as an idea, was that you can't just appeal to one specific group. You have to appeal to everybody. And to a certain extent, I think, you know, although there are certain nuances in what the different leadership candidates are saying, I don't think anybody's saying, well, we should appeal to the working class and ignore the middle class, or vice versa.
It's just Gavin calling for the local Labour Party.
Labour is working hard to rebuild support in the region. Here, staff are cold calling voters. It claims coalition cuts are winning new supporters.
We're going to come out of the blocks very strong, and by Christmas, my prediction is we'll be ahead in the polls.
Giles Radici concluded that Labour needed policies which were relevant to the times and appealed to aspirational England. The new leader will need to do something similar if the party wants to win again in the East. Andrew Sinclair, BBC Look East.
And there's more from Andrew and the politics team on Sunday morning when the Politics Show comes live from the Labour Party conference in Manchester. That's on BBC One at 11 o'clock.
Now, did you know the type of food you eat will have a direct effect on your brain? We're often told what to eat for a healthy body, but what about our minds?
Today was the first day of the Aldborough Food and Drink Festival in Suffolk. The theme is healthy eating, and the experts had some advice about growing your own veg.
You are what you eat is now a well-known phrase. With obesity rates rising, it's a hot topic. And this year's Aldborough Food and Drink Festival is following suit by promoting the benefits of homegrown fruit and veg. Everybody knows that eating fresh fruit and veg is good for the body. But did you also know that what we eat has a significant effect on our minds as well? Professor John Stein has carved a career out of this, investigating the links between what we eat and the effect it has on our brains.
Well, the benefits are your brain works better, and it's been shown time and time again that a good, healthy, mixed diet makes your brain work well, and it protects you from things like depression. It protects you from not being able to learn to read properly. It protects you in old age from things like Alzheimer's disease.
Over the last few years, growing your own has become a fashionable thing to do. But for gardeners like Tony, it's second nature.
It tastes so good. Doesn't cost anything, hardly. People just generally have a passion for going and doing something themselves. There's a real sense of achievement.
Back at the festival, and school children from Berkholt Primary in Essex are a shining example of living off the earth.
We've grown marrow. We've used our vegetables and made lots of different types of things.
I like tomatoes.
What is it about them?
They're just really juicy and fresh and they're tasty.
So the message is clear for both young and old. Growing your own is one way to feed both body and mind. Catherine Nash, BBC Look East, Saxmundham.
Next to an icon, much like the Spitfire or the Mini, the Class 37 diesel locomotive is a reminder of our great engineering past.
She just loves them, the
Apparently
old Class 30.
apparently they're called tractors.
Yeah, tractors, yes. Now, this weekend, the Mid-Norfolk Railway is celebrating the Golden Jubilee of the old Class 37. So let's go live to Dereham and to Mike Liggins, another icon.
Thank you very much. Behold, a Class 37. Now, Rodney's driving. I'm going to signal him. Let's see what happens. There we go. He's acknowledged my signal. Now, Class 37, what do you want to know? Well, it was built to replace steam locomotives. They were built to replace steam locos. This is 37109, which spent many years at March in Cambridgeshire. And as you can see, it's in lovely British Rail blue, now in private hands. And if you wanted to buy it, it'd cost you £50,000. Right, we're going to go for a spin in a wee short while. We're going to get into the cab. While we do that, you have a look at this nice short film.
Tell Laura I love her. Tell Laura I need her.
October 1960. Ricky Valance was on the radio and the Class 37 diesel loco first appeared on our railways. Built by English Electric in the Midlands, 12 of the engines are running between Dereham and Wymondham on the Mid-Norfolk Railway this weekend.
They're noisy, children like them, they're the traditional image of a diesel engine, they're very powerful. Many have been withdrawn from service now, but there are still quite a few left. They're very versatile, they've been used for passenger and freight trains, and they're still very popular today.
Tell Laura not to cry, my love for her will never die.
They're coming from as far afield as Cornwall and up near Manchester, from various freight operators, direct rail services, West Coast Railways, and a number of private owners.
There's an hourly service running over the weekend, starting at 8 on Saturday and 8:30 on Sunday. Thousands are expected for this festival of nostalgia.
And this is Rodney. Rodney, just tell us what these levers do.
This is your power handle, which controls the power of the loco getting up to speed.
Yeah.
And this is the forward and reverse.
All right, and this one down here is the horn. Go on then, away you go.
Okay.
All right. And just tell us why people love these old things.
Well, I think that's the sound, really. The fact that you don't get them on the main line too much anymore, and the sound. I mean, they sound a bit like a growl, you know, and I think that's what people enjoy a little bit of.
And you're a train driver in real life, as it were, but you used to drive these things, and what kind of speed do they do?
When they were built, they were 90 miles an hour, but they did bring them down to 80, but they're 80 mile an hour now on the main line.
Yeah. And it's not luxury, is it? I mean, 2 hours to London in one of these, blimey.
Yeah, this, we could have had better, but there you go.
All right. Well, look, unfortunately, we've got to hand back, but where can you take us? Can we get to France or what?
We go to Wymondham at the moment.
All right, okay. Well, Wymondham will do. That sounds good to me at this time of year. Fantastic. Absolutely loving this. I could do this all day. Back to you.
They're also known as growlers, you know.
Yes, yes. And there is a man in the studio with us who really...
Now, before we go, a word about our feature last night on the fighter planes at Lakenheath. I'm sure you remember Alex Dunlop was feeling the effects of filming inside an F-15 jet.
Then, because of a technical fault, Alex's special report ended before it should have done, something many of you noticed. So tonight we're going to pick it up at the moment we lost it and finish it off.
You should feel better.
Sorry, it's just that camera work is killing me.
Yeah.
I was fine till I put the camera up. Oh, yeah.
But Ramses hadn't had enough.
Hook right. Here we go.
Putting the plane and me into some tight mid-air turns. First, 6G, 6 times my own body weight. Then the max, 9G. For a few seconds, I weighed 111 stones. After an hour and a half, we were back on the ground.
It was an amazing flight, and I'd go up right now. I'd go up right now if I could. Great stuff. Great.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Just another day at the office for Ramses. A once-in-a-lifetime experience for me and my stomach. Alex Dunlop, BBC Look East, RAF Lakenheath.
Especially his stomach.
A bit of a happier ending than last night. And if you want to see Alex's report in full, it's on the BBC Suffolk website. Log on to bbc.co.uk /Suffolk.
That's it from all of us. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.